How do we heal a broken heart? Well, we're going to talk about that tonight. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Welcome back, creators. I want to talk about the whole idea of heartbreak, heartache, right? When there situations come up in our life where we feel this emotional pain, right? We feel that our heart is broken. What does that really mean? Well, let's talk about this from a spiritual perspective, but from a human perspective, right? Because remember, we're spirit having a human experience, right? So we've got to be able to, the only answer is to look within. It is always the answer. But let's talk about this. Your heart, what I want to say about heartbreak is it's always your heart asking for more space to be in. So it's the way it's really how you look at it. When your heart breaks, that simply means your heart, it's an expansion. It's not a contraction, right? It's definitely a release of resistance, right? And sometimes heartbreak has little to do what the trigger of it was, right? It could be a lifetime of resistance, right? When we get a broken heart. But the way to look at it, guys, is more of your heart's asking for more space to be in. When your heart breaks, it's really your heart expanding. It's becoming bigger. It's opening more, right? Our initial reaction to it is we want to shrink. We want to curl up, right, in fetal position. We don't want to face it. We want to run away from it. But guys, I just want to say there's nothing to run away from. There's nowhere to go. Right? We often in life run away from our pain, run away from our suffering, run away from the conflict, the things that we don't want to face. But there is nowhere to go. Why? Because it's all inside. Right? We already have that peace. We already have that love within us. So it's to work through it. When your heart breaks, your heart's expanding. It's getting bigger. It's not shrinking. So it may feel, when you're crying or really sobbing, you're releasing resistance and your heart is growing. It's getting bigger. It's not shrinking. It's not breaking. They use this idea of heartbreak, but it's really the opposite, right? It's the opposite. Your heart is expanding. If you don't run away from it, if you don't repress those feelings, right? Otherwise, it is expanding and it is getting smaller. But really, your heart gets bigger when it breaks. Right? It's simply asking that you're feeling more. When you can feel more, your heart gets bigger. It needs more space to be in. Right? It's always good to feel. Right? If you can feel that your greatest suffering, then you can feel your greatest joy. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I mean it. Right? There's that whole duality, right? Where we can even move beyond that, where you move beyond it, where they come together, right, into something greater. So it's about forgiving whatever triggered it, and forgiving yourself, right? Because you're forgiving and you're just feeling more. Give yourself permission to feel more. Give yourself permission to let your heart open wider. So when your heart breaks, it's your heart opening wider. It's encompassing more. And if you don't run away from it, if you don't remember, pain, we're going to feel pain, but the suffering's optional. Suffering is simply living with that pain, right? And bringing it up and telling stories about it and telling why you can't get over it, right? So pain, yes, we're going to feel that, but the suffering is optional. So feel the heartbreak, feel the feelings, let it pass through your body, but don't suffer with it, because the suffering is not necessary. The suffering is in the mind, it's in your thoughts. Right? Suffering is not the pain. Suffering is what you choose your relationship to the pain, right? So feel the pain, but let go of the suffering, right? Often what happens is we feel the pain turns into suffering because we don't let it go. We keep telling the story about it. We keep keeping it active, a reason why we have to have it. We don't realize that, guys. It's really when you let go, when you feel the pain, and you let go of your suffering, that's what makes your heart bigger, right? Otherwise, you stay here, right? It's about acceptance, right? Accepting what is, right? What is it's only when we fight against life that we suffer. It's only when we fight against what is that causes suffering, right? Pain we're going to have, right, occasionally. But that pain is either we can grow from it or we can shrink from it, right? But it's about it transcending and transforming. It's becoming bigger. Heartbreak should be a breakthrough, right? Whenever you have a heartbreak, it's a breakthrough because your heart's getting bigger, right? And it's only when we stay into the suffering, when we get stuck in suffering, that we don't feel it as a breakthrough, right? It's a choice, guys. We can either fight against what is and suffer, or we can accept what is. Doesn't mean you agree with it. It just means you choose something else, right? What is what is, right? Reality is what is your relationship to it. So it's only when we try to change in that present moment what's happening in that present moment where we suffer because we're thinking about what could happen in the future, or we suffer because we're thinking about what happened in the past. But when in the present moment, we can't suffer, right? In the present moment, there is no pain, there is no suffering. It's only when we look at the past, we get stuck in the past, or we get stuck in the pain of the past and regret of the past, or we get stuck in the apprehension and the fear of the future, what could happen. When you stay in the moment and you can't suffer, you let it go, you let the pain go. Suffering is a choice. Yeah. So guys, that's what I want to say. Don't run away from heartbreak. It's a beautiful part of life. It's why we're here, to experience all that. Why? Because it makes us grow. It's just your heart asking for more space to be in. It's your heart asking to be more loving, right? We should love more. When your heart breaks, it becomes stronger and it loves more. That's the whole idea. Unless you get stuck into suffering, and suffering is a choice, right? This is what I wanted to touch on today, guys. That's how you heal from a broken heart. We're made to heal. We're already healed. That's really my message, that your heart's not broken, really. It's just getting bigger. So it never really breaks. We think it's breaking, right? But it's not really breaking. It's expanding, and it's asking for more space to be in. It's when our ego, our egoic consciousness, looks at that as a heartbreak, as something that's breaking us, something that's making us be in pain, making us suffer. But it's not. It's impossible, because you're pure and divine, and you're perfect as you are. So what you're feeling really is your heart asking for more space to be in, to grow, to expand. That's what that ache is. It's an ache of expansion, right? And once you see that, once you feel that, then you know you're connected to that pure spirit, right? So guys, yeah, there might be pain, but the suffering is the real heartbreak, and that's optional, right? We'll talk more about this kind of stuff, guys. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification button, and share and like our videos. That's how we get our message out. Yeah. Until next time, this is Tom with great love. Talk to you soon.